In this video, we're going to begin to look at the export options when using the 3D Coat Applink connection plugin for Blender. You can see the different options that we have available to us here. In this first video, we're going to look at per pixel painting. I'm going to start from scratch, but you can see what a finished result might look like. All right, so let's go to the File menu, and I want to start from scratch. Go to the Layout menu, and I'll just drag Select to select all the different parts, and then click Send. When that's no longer highlighted, I know that it's finished exporting, so I can switch to 3D Coat, and I'll see the Import dialog. If you have Treat Materials as Separate Textures checked, you might see something like this, where it's trying to assign UV maps to every single subcomponent of your model. And in this case, that's definitely not what we want. This model already has UVs applied to it. However, we may need to tweak those. So I'll go ahead and make sure that Keep UV is the mapping type. If we wanted 3D Coat to perform auto mapping on import, we could choose that option. The normal map software preset, you can choose Blender here. Our UV maps, we can set the size to our preferred resolution. In this case, I'll leave it at 2K. All right, and so here is our model. I can hit the W key to turn wireframe on. I'll turn that back off. I can bring up the texture editor. This allows us to work as if we were inside Photoshop, to which if I were to texture paint here, I would see the result in the 3D viewport and vice versa. You can look through your different UV sets here. One for the head, one for the torso. And then your different maps. So I can look at and work on normal maps, color, roughness, or metalness. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to go to our layer panel, and I'm going to select this first layer. And I'm going to double click and name it Metal, because I'm going to apply a metal smart material. I'm going to go to the Metals folder, scroll down and find gun metal with worn edges, something like that. The first thing 3D Coat's going to do is try to create a curvature map for many of these smart materials. If it has edge wear, it will definitely need a curvature map. Also, many of these require an ambient occlusion map as well. So I'll hit OK, and then OK once more. Once that is done, we can use our paintbrush to apply it with strokes, but the best way to apply it in a situation like this is to use the Fill tool, and we can apply it to everything by clicking Layer. So no matter how many objects you have in the scene, no matter how many UV maps you may have, this will apply it across all of those and put it on this selected layer. You can also do it very quickly by right-clicking on the thumbnail of the smart material and choose Fill Entire Layer. In this case, I may want to go ahead and do that, but I'm going to use my preview first. And I can see that not all of it is visible. The reason for that is because here at the top of the UI, my channels are not all enabled, only color. If I enable glossiness, now you can see that visible. And if I enable depth, I should see that now as well. So once again, I can use the right-click method here to fill the entire layer. If I want to scale or move the map, I can do that with these widgets. And also, you can choose Reset. This is going to reset your aspect ratio. You can right-click on that little dot, and now you have a gizmo, which you can left mouse click in the center and drag it. And you can scale globally or along a specific axis. You can rotate as well. You can also enter numeric values if you want. So for example, if I want to scale it down 50%, I can left mouse click and hold while I hit the space bar and enter a numeric value. So let's say 50%. Okay, and I can left mouse click and hold while I hit the space bar and go back to 100. When I am ready to close this gizmo, I can click the X icon here or right click on the center dot. If you need to move just the gizmo only, you can click and drag this little icon here. Let's right click. Now I want to create a new layer and I'm going to name this one paint. So let me double click. And let's switch to paints metal. I'm going to scroll down to white paint with edge wear, something like that. I'll look at my preview. That too looks fairly good, although I can scale it up if I need. Okay. Now, this time, I'm only going to apply it partially with the fill tool. This lets me click on individual parts to fill them very rapidly. Also, if you have UV shells you want to fill with those instead, you can click on those in the 2D texture editor and it will fill just the UV shell with that material. Okay, so I'm going to click here and a few other objects in the head region. All right, I think we're good. Now, with this model, I can see there probably is an issue with the UV maps somehow. So I can rectify this very quickly, and that's why we're going to look at the UV workspace as well.